Many people were in a huge anticipation of Red Velvet's comeback early this year, since they've been inactive since December 2019, but instead SM Entertainment surprised all of us and announced Wendy's solo debut with a mini album Like Water. All teasers and mood sample videos set a very strong Taylor Swift inspired tone, as well as pretty much for sure a ballad. Whole 4 minutes and 30 seconds actually. As much as I'm happy for her that she was able to shine brightly after her injury and long recovery, there are many issues, mainly on SM's part, that are setting her debut up for an underwhelming release at best.
My love is like water.
You guys know how I feel about ballads. I can enjoy them and appreciate them, but most of the time they leave me with no desire to ever check them out again. Especially as a title track, they tend to not be a good choice. Many times we see them with soloists, which I think is the most acceptable option of them all, which in this case should apply to Wendy as well, right? Not exactly. Wendy is one of the best vocalists in the entire pop industry right now. I don't think many people can deny that. Therefore I can see why a ballad may make up for a logical choice. Her voice has always been working the best in slower paced songs, showcasing her talent to the fullest. It shines beautifully in Like Water as well. High notes in the chorus are simply stunning, and give this song a much needed volume, which melody hardly provides. Most of the time the main goal of a ballad is to present a story to the listener. A story they can hopefully relate to, and connect to on a deep emotional level. The problem is that most of these stories stay at a surface level. Breakup, heartbreak, relationships, falling in love. The end. If you can't relate to that, or you're simply sick of this overly used trope in music, a ballad will only stay something you listen to once and never again. Unfortunately, Like Water suffers from the same thing. The melody, as well as her vocals, are very raw and touching. They don't sound overly produced, which can be a good thing sometimes. But in this case, at least to me, it seems like it would need a few more drafts to truly be title track material. To me this sounds nothing more than a B-side track off of every solo artist's album ever. It doesn't have anything interesting or outstanding. Nothing that would blow me away. It's just there and that's it. The replay value here was lost by choosing a ballad as a title track over a song with a few dance pop beats mixed into it. I'm not exactly sure whether this is what she wanted or this is what SM forced upon her to establish her image as an innocent looking vocalist. Regardless, this was a pure choice of a song and the result of that will most likely be in lower places on charts. I think she will hardly be able to count on anyone else but her and Red Velvet's hardcore fans. I predicted her debuting solo in 2021 Pop Predictions video, and I'm beyond happy it became a reality. I'm just not happy with what they decided to go for. I wanted something calmer, because it's what she enjoys to perform the most, but not a full-on ballad. I know it sounds harsh, but this definitely won't be anywhere near my list of favorite pop songs. Not anywhere near.
이 길의 끝이란
As I've already mentioned earlier, it's extremely noticeable Wendy didn't step foot anywhere near this song. It doesn't convey her personal experience, but rather a very surface-leveled love story. I have to say that the imagery and the use of metaphors at certain points is amazing, and I enjoyed it a lot, but overall these lyrics could be way better if they allowed Wendy to participate. I know many people say that just because someone didn't write or produce their own song, it doesn't mean it's bad automatically. I agree with that, of course, but when you have a genre that's entirely created to show emotions and experiences of the artist, not having them anywhere near the song is a huge miss. Blackpink's You Never Know suffered from the same issue. It's hard for me to get invested into a story behind the ballad when I know it's been written for Wendy and not by her, like it should be. This way it stays very basic and isn't able to explore anything beneath the first layer. Another huge mistake on SM's part. Usually a music video is the one that brings something good to the release, even if I complete dislike the song. But there is something about this one that just isn't clicking with me at all. I don't know if it's just me, but this music video seems less interesting than her teaser photos and videos. It doesn't look like much thought or time was put into it. Not cheap, to be clear. It's SM Entertainment. Their music videos simply can't look cheap. But compared to even the debut of Seulgi and Irene, this just isn't cutting it. I know they can't do as much with the ballad, other than setting the mood of what the lyrics are trying to tell, but not even that was done right here. Wendy looks stunning. Point blank, period. She is gorgeous in every single scene, for as much as I can see at least. The lighting is so dark, and for what? I know they tried to set this monotone, simplistic vibe, something not too bright, and not too dark. But I swear to good I put the brightness on my laptop to a maximum, and I still couldn't see shit. That's why I also had problems making this thumbnail, because everything was way too dark. Other than that, the red floral scene is by far my favorite, and I wish we would get more scenes we saw in her teaser photos. Like a beach and a forest, something like that. Not only two different settings, obviously inside the same building. Wendy deserved better, that's all I have to say. Her main title track came with her first mini album as well, called Like Water. It has 5 songs on it, and as you could probably guess by now, they are all ballads. We will now go through all of them as they are placed on the track list, and talk about them shortly, before I'll let you know my final thoughts on Wendy's entire debut. Such a gorgeous opening track to start off the album. Her vocals in this song win over everything I've ever heard from her. High notes somehow hit deeply into your ear, especially if you wear headphones, and it blows you away. Piano in the background is extremely simple, yet effective, and works much better than instrumentals in Like Water. Just my opinions. It has more dynamic and offers me more, which makes me wanna stay till the very end. Still not appealing enough to make it onto my playlist, but I prefer it to Like Water any time of any day. Why can't you just love me? Yeah. Finally something a bit brighter, because previous 2 songs put me into such a sad mood. Exactly why I avoid ballads at all costs, unless I need my depression playlist. This gives me some kind of old Hollywood vibes. Don't ask why, I can't explain. That's the image I got in my head while I was listening to it. This far in the album it offers the absolute most in terms of production, but the absolute least in terms of her vocals. They don't play around a lot to make it interesting, but it still gives me enough to want to stick around. Also, it being under 3 minutes works perfectly. Anything longer than that would feel too long. This one almost made it to my playlist, but I ended up realizing I would most likely skip it if it came on shuffle, so I decided against it. This is a prime example of a ballad that I dislike the most. It's raw and her vocals are once again beautiful, but the melody stays stagnant throughout the entire song. Instead of telling me a story, or at least telling me something, it was just a straight line. Without a doubt this is my least favorite song off of the album, and I'm not even sorry about it. If you're a huge ballad fan, then I can see why you might enjoy this one, but for everyone else I think this will be an easy skip. It doesn't offer enough to hold listeners' attention for more than 30 seconds. You're my best friend. Oof, was this an absolutely perfect track to end the album on. I didn't expect to hear any other Red Velvet members on Wendy's debut album, but I'm glad we got Seulgi on a song about friendships. Their voices complement each other and result in harmonies that are among some of my favorites. I'm a sucker for harmonies, and they gave me everything I could ask for. Again, not a song for my playlist, but one of the better tracks on this entire album for sure. This entire video may seem like an attack on Wendy and her debut, but I can most certainly tell you this is not what I'm trying to do here. I'm simply giving my own constructive criticism, which is based on me personal taste in music. I'm not carved for ballads, and will never be. Therefore this entire album fell flat for me. Is it objectively bad? No, I can see many people absolutely loving this. I'm just not one of them, although at first I was thinking about buying her physical album. I will keep supporting her through her promotions, and on her path as a member of Red Velvet, but this just wasn't up my alley and I couldn't be more sad about it.